UFC 220, Miocic vs. Ngannou post-fight results and analysis 52. The theme of Saturday night's title fights at UFC 220. To quote Daniel Cormier, "There are levels to this game. Volkan Oezdemir found that out in the co-main event, then Francis Ngannou did the same in the main event." After a wild opening round which saw Ngannou land some brutal, but often sloppy, power shots on the reigning heavyweight champion, Stipe Miocic just completely dominated his foe to win the very one-sided decision. If you bet on this fight going the distance, well done. There were plenty of unanswered questions concerning Ngannou, and it's fair to say almost all of them were answered negatively, particularly his cardio and his ability to lead striking exchanges instead of working off the counter. Maybe the best thing I can think of is he has a phenomenal chin, and he somehow made it to the final round. Although Miocic didn't land enough damaging shots on the ground for Ngannou to be in serious danger of being stopped. Ngannou is only 5 years into his MMA career, so this is a harsh learning experience for him. I'm sure we are going to get the hype train derailed comments, and I already got a response on Twitter saying he's Bob Sapp 2.0. But he's still such a physical freak that he rocked Miocic in the third round despite being totally exhausted. I'll take the optimistic side and hope that he continues to get better and actually develop more skills, because it was in hindsight to say Miocic was the more skilled fighter. But the gulf in class was evident. Most importantly, Miocic is the most accomplished heavyweight in UFC history. The bar was set very low given no one had ever defended the title more than 2 consecutive times, but Miocic has set a new standard. He beat Fabricio Werdum in Brazil to win the title, then defended it against Alistair Overeem, Jr. dos Santos, Los Avenged, and Francis Ngannou. Miocic vs. Ngannou may have fizzled after, say, round 2. But Stipe is a fantastic fighter who should go down as one of the all-time greats at heavyweight. Well done to Mr. Miocic. And I can only hope that one day I'll understand what he's saying in his post-fight interviews. More thoughts on tonight's main card. What's next for Stipe? A Fabricio Werdum rematch is possible. And then there's Cain Velasquez, who hasn't fought since July 2016. I guess Alexander Volkov is also in the mix. Other than that, he's basically cleaned out the division. Curtis Blaydes is the next best hope at heavyweight apart from Ngannou. And his fight with Mark Hunt will tell us more about his prospects. Volkan Oezdemir no doubt made things interesting with his all-out aggression in round 1 against Daniel Cormier. But once he started to fade, Cormier took over. After Oezdemir's early burst of offense failed to even wobble Cormier, it was DC who had the Swiss fighter hurt on the feet. And he nearly choked him out before the horn sounded to end the opening frame. An emotional Cormier considered this fight for the vacant title due to him losing to John Jones in the rematch, only for Jones' drug test failure to render it a no contest. Well, he's the champion, and the tough part is finding a compelling matchup for him. Calvin Kattar and Shane Burgos engaged in a truly back-and-forth battle. Kattar started out brilliantly, working behind a sharp jab, but Burgos charged back with some terrific body shots and a commitment to leg kicks. Gian Villante took a split decision over Francimar Barroso. I struggled to see how anyone could score that for Barroso, but whatever, Rob Font and Thomas Almeida predictably had an entertaining clash. Font got off to a good start in round 1. Then Almeida took over the latter part of the opening frame, but in round 2 it was all Font, as he floored the Brazilian twice and got the TKO. Preliminary card: Kyle Bochniak won in front of his home fans, taking a unanimous decision over Contender Series signing Brandon Davis. Abdul Razak Al Hassan had a controversial TKO versus Sabah Homasi last month at UFC 218, with Herb Dean intervening prematurely. Dustin Ortiz was in big trouble in round 1 with Alexander Pantoja draped all over his back in search of a submission. In typical Ortiz fashion, he wore Pantoja down and took rounds 2 and 3 to rally for the decision when Julio Arce stopped all of Dan Igee's takedowns and expertly picked Ige apart with his boxing to earn a clear-cut decision victory. I liked Arce on Dana White's Contender Series, and this was an impressive octagon debut. Enrique Barzola got the unanimous decision win over MMA veteran and UFC newcomer Matt Bissett. It was a competitive fight and Bissett did well on short notice. But Barzola's takedowns and brutal leg kicks saw him through to another win. Islam Makhachev kicked off the card by flattening Gleison Tibau with a wicked left hand in under a minute. Tibau's return after his USADA suspension was definitely not what he'd hoped for, while Makhachev wants a top 15.